Hi, this is I'm James, and this is everybody else. Everybody else introduce
Hey.
yourselves.
Say hi. Your name. What's your name?
What's your name, babe?
Amy. Kimbra. Say hi, Kimbra.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. And me, the camera person.
All right. Well, Ashley gets that fixed. We are good to go. So we are investing in green energy to power the future, by James Natale. That's me. No. Hola. Alright. So, according to the article in UC USA, the Electricity Future Study found that an 80% renewable future is feasible with current available technologies, including wind turbines, solar photovoltaics, and concentrated solar power, biopower, geothermal, and hydropower. The assessment is based merely on technologies that we currently have today and combines them with more adaptable electric system. This means that the study is leaving out the potential to bring about new jobs, new infrastructures, and a new future for America. Something many Americans are desperately grasping for in our current state of affairs. If America sets its sights on green energy and renewable resources, offering full government support, a future prosperity would occur. A United States run completely on renewable green energy and resources, all coming from green power plants in the U.S., worked and ran by American workers, with city planning, material, and infrastructure used and created with green materials, would awaken a prosperous America without threat of overheating and mass extinction. American media desperately tries to point the focus in other places, but many scientists are claiming that the time is now. We can't wait any longer. We are technically in climate change already, and some of the effects are noticeable now. So while television and social media pushes nostalgia, the current state of America exists drastically different from the America of the 90s. Our city decays and environment crumbles while the study, the creation and employment of green energy and technologies grows at a steady but slow pace. America needs a solution to solve the lack of jobs in our city and community, especially when competing on a global scale. Climate change is on the rise and has been significantly tested and proven to have deadly scale. Climate change is on the rise and and seemingly apocalyptic ramifications to the earth and its citizens if nothing is done to slow and eventually stop the rising levels of carbon dioxide. The topic is dire, so dire that NASA has a page dedicated specifically to facts on climate change, which is updated daily. This site states scientists have confidence that global temperatures will continue to rise for decades to come, largely due to greenhouse gas produced by human activities. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC), which includes more than 1,300 scientists from the United States and other countries, forecast a temperature rise of 2.5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit over next century. According to the IPCC, the extent of climate change effects on individual regions will vary over time and with the ability of different society and environmental systems mitigate or adapt to a change. A rise in temperature will lead to an eternal summer full of heat waves and never letting a layer of snow cover the permafrost Arctic regions, allowing the permafrost to defrost and the water let free in the oceans that work together with thermal expansion where water expands when heated, causing water to occupy more space to cause a rise in sea level. National Geographic stands in agreement with every scientist in the world, their website stating that core samples, tide gauge readings, and most recently satellite measurements tell us that over the past century the global mean sea level GMSL has risen by 4 to 8 inches, which is 10 to 20 centimeters. However, the annual rate of rise over the past 20 years have been 0.13 inches, which is 3.2 millimeters a year. Roughly twice the average speed of last preceding 80 years. Over the past century, the burning of fossil fuels and other human natural activities has released enormous amounts of heat-trapping gases into the atmosphere. These emissions have caused Earth's surface temperature to rise and the oceans to absorb about 80% of the additional heat. Scientists are saying there could be a rise of water up to 4 feet by 2100. Many U.S. citizens or cities along the coast will stay flooded, and a massive immigration will create overcrowding in cities, creating a rise in costs and needs for housing and social resources, as well as rising costs of rent, food, and taxes, especially replace infrastructure from the additional movement of people and vehicles. Since our infrastructure is already crumbling and a new business will have to be made, new places powered, it would be wise to start with green power and RE now, rather than later. This is currently being done through tax incentives with a growing demand for energy made by wind turbines. This process can be sped up by continuing government support, use of government programs and incentives like funding, grants, or lowering interest rate, lowering loans to green businesses and technologies, big or small. This will incentivize growth and manufacturing and research in green energies in America, creating jobs ranging from CEO to part packers and construction workers, installation, store managers, etc. Both private and public sectors investing in sustainable and non-toxic materials would begin a shift back towards a free marketplace, away from monopolies who will be forced to create green materials and move away from pesticides. Will lead to an expansion of biomaterials for clothing like hemp energy gathered by solar panels that are clear and stuck on windows. Recycled building materials, wind-powered cities, or bioenergy powering a house. All these technologies are made or in the process of creation right now, with the only budding interests, already creating a viable transition from fossil fuels and monopolized corporations toward RE. Over time, this change would bring about a cultural shift in America and create a new normal. A transition of values and technologies towards renewable green energy can help alleviate issues with infrastructures. Transit, agriculture, city, planning, textiles, education, and power one's house and care. Let this not be confused with nuclear energy, which is being pushed as a faulty and potential dangerous alternative to RE. On April 19, 2016, ecologists published Mark Desendorf article titled Renewable Energy versus Nuclear, which stated that nuclear energy and renewable energy RE are the principal competitors for low carbon electricity in many countries. As RE technologies have grown in volume and investment that could be and become much cheaper, nuclear proponents and deniers of climate science have become deniers of RE. The strategies and tactics of RE deniers are very similar to those climate science deniers. Nuclear energy is often high risk and expensive, especially since radiation is invisible to human eye. It is also important to remember that nuclear energy is not a new concept. It has failed in the past. There has already been nuclear meltdowns, the most famous being Fukushima and Chernobyl, which have poisoned communities and even led to deaths of their cities. There is also the residue of nuclear waste, which is often stored away unsuccessfully. With these small details in mind, we are not even scrapping the surface of negatives of nuclear power. Renewable energy seems like a common sense solution to environmental problems. Green energy can revitalize the entire operations of our country, leading the way towards a functional green economy, employing less waste and revitalizing an American values. A national change in operations that is beneficial to American people will shift the general population perception and feelings towards green energy and renewable practices over time. This is similar to the gay marriage debate and legalization of medical marijuana, which has shifted the general opinion towards support or softening one's feelings towards the topic, especially when they are providing jobs. The Environmental and Energy Study Institute published on November 6, 2015, an article confirming the needs for green energy, RE jobs pretty much. The American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy, ACEEE, is currently working on a new estimate for energy efficiency jobs in the United States. Following a review of methodologies that could use to measure such jobs, its last analyst dates to 2010, when ACEEE estimated there were 8,300,000 energy efficient jobs in the United States and predicted numbers were increasing at 3% annual rate. ACEE also stated that if the United States were to invest wholeheartedly in energy efficiency, especially new technologies, there could be a net increase of 1.3 to 1.9 million jobs in energy efficiency industries by 2050. This leaves the only two viable paths of America, and essentially the world. We can learn from our mistakes as both individual countries and global communities, and make the dedication move towards green energy, which science and environmentalists and millenniums are pushing towards at full speed. Or we can live life based on denial and lies coming from corporate founded studies and continue to plunge into destruction of our earth and country. If changes are not made with how we operate our world, meaning the human world, which also has impact on the natural world, the future looks bleak. But with there being hope, as waves of people in both states and globally are pushing for green alternatives. But the take-up is slow and apathy strong. Education and cultural shifts are shining beacons of hope in the fight for the earth and survival. In the negative, if nothing is done about climate change, then massive deaths in multiple species will and should be expected. The earth is transitioning into a new environment, leaving the old behind and starting fresh. According to the Central for Biological Diversity, our planet is now in the midst of its sixth mass extinction of plants and animals. The sixth wave of extinctions in the past half billion years. We are currently experiencing the worst spate of species die-offs since the loss of dinosaurs 65 million years ago. Although the extinction is a natural phenomenon, it occurs at a natural background rate of about 1 to 5 species per year. Scientists estimate we're losing species at 1,000 to 10,000 times the background rate, with literally dozens going extinct every day. It could be a scary future indeed, with as many 30 to 50% of all species possibly heading toward extinction by mid-century. And unlike extinctions of the past, which were caused by asteroid strikes, natural climate shifts, or volcanic eruptions, the current catastrophic is caused by humans. It is completely man-made. This has happened specifically through the introduction of exotic species to new environments, climate change, and habitat loss materials or farming. The positive is that education and cultural shifts have begun since 1960s and grown rapidly, spreading facts that changing opinions of people everywhere. The evidence is clear, with over 75% of millennials believing in climate change. People are having conversations and beginning to discuss and understand viable solutions. All credit